Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And this week we're going to look at something a little different. Now, I previously covered the poetry book by T.S. Eliot, which is the Old Possum's Books of Practical Cats. So please check out that video. So to balance this off, I'm going to look at a filming of the stage musical Cats. Again, this is a filming of the stage musical, not the monstrosity that they put on screens with Judi Dench playing a character that's normally male, because she was originally supposed to play one of our main characters, Grazabella, before she hurt her tendon back when this was originally coming out as a stage musical. So that's why she's there. And unfortunately, it's very sad because she's a fantastic actress, and that is a mess, along with a few other decent actors who are in a very, very, very big mess. That is not their fault. Well, partially, they didn't want to be in cat suits. Sorry, you wanted to be in cats, and sorry, Miss Dench, you agreed to be in a cat suit in the first place. Mind you, it was back in the 80s. You were much, much younger, but still, you originally chose to be in a cat suit. Probably because she could sing better back then. Because, again, younger. All right, let's move on and look at this. So, this is from my library. This is a commemorative edition, but this is Cats, the musical. This is, I believe, one of the London casts. And I will say, after watching this, it's really, really good. I highly recommend this. The stage musical ran for a long time for a good reason. This is good. It's a little chaotic. Do they sexualize cats just a tad bit? Yes. Yes, they do. It's still really good. You could probably show this to younger kids if you would show them Shrek. So, the sexual stuff will most likely go over most young kids' heads, and they will enjoy this. It has some really high moments. It has some slower moments. It has an interesting story. So let's go over what the story of this musical is, because it does in fact have one, despite the fact that it's a pieced together mess of T.S. Eliot cat poems. And yes, they do have a tendency to recite some of those verbatim in song. So the basic story of this is you have a group of cats. They get together once a year on this Jellicle ball. They're Jellicle cats. And their leader, old Deariotomy, I was possibly mispronouncing that, chooses one to go to the Heavenside Lair to come back with a new life. So essentially, they're choosing somebody to die so they can be reborn, which goes off the whole cats have 9 lives kind of thing. So it starts off with them singing and dancing about the Jellicle cats, the Jellicle ball kind of thing. It's very, very high energy. And you have, I'm going to bring up, I have the Wikipedia thing here with some of the characters. The main, let's see, scrolling down here really quickly. There we go. The main, I'm going to say protagonist, he's the storyteller in this musical. So I'm going to quickly find his name here. Let's see. I can actually find his name here. But nonetheless, you have a cat who's black and white, he's the main storyteller of this tale here. I'm pulling this up. Here we go. If I can find, all right, here we go. Act 1 and Muskrat. So he's the main narrator of this musical here. So he's kind of telling about the Jellicle ball. He's there throughout the entire program, and he kind of tells a little bit what's going on. They jump into something that I find really, really weird. There's a poem in the book called The Naming of Cats, and the cast gets together. They're kind of all in kind of a group together, pyramid-like style. and they recite this almost like they're chanting. So it's a little weird. A tad bit weird. There's a little bit of this. And then you have a ballet solo by a white cat by the name of Victoria. So she's one of the younger cats in the show. She stands out because she's completely white. And again, these are all actors in cat suits. Essentially, they're in spandex with fake fur and face makeup. You know they're human. They're not trying to be anything else. They are definitely performing. So like you would see on any other stage musical, which is what makes it really, really different from the film, because they're trying to make you believe these people are actually cats. The stage musical does not do that because, again, it's a stage musical. So she does this solo. Then they move into another song, which is based off a poem, which is called The Old Gimme Cat, which is Jenny Anydots. So that's kind of, it tells the story of a large tabby who lounges around all day, and then at night, essentially she teaches right. She tried to civilize the cockroaches and mice. So it's a very, very interesting presentation. Again, the singer of this does very, very well. Her voice is extremely strong. These people know what they're doing. They do stage musicals. That's their job. So their voices are very, very powerful, and they are very, very good at it. So, and then we move into talking about Rum Tum Tugger, who's another very fickle, unpleasable cat. So you have his song. And then, let's see. Then you have the first scene of kind of almost our main heroine, so to speak, of this story. So if you were watching a Disney musical, she would be the princess in this. So this is Grizabella. She was formerly the glamour cat. And she sings a very quiet song, and you very much see that she's worn down and she wants to be part of the group, and you get some of the melodies of the song that she is known for, which is what the entire program is known for, this song that I called Memory. So that's the major hit song of this musical, which was a combination of a poem, and they kind of mixed it, made it into a song. I think Moonlit on a Windy Night was the name of the poem that they adjusted. So then you move in to the song of Bustopher Jones, who is a fat cat. He eats well, he goes to fancy clubs, he's the aristocrat cat. Or the poem is called Bustopher Jones, the Cat About Town. So that's the name of the poem. And you have a big upbeat number with him, who's a very, very fat cat. And then you have a loud crash, which startles the cats, and everybody disappears. And then you have the next song, which is kind of a fun combo song of two young cats, Mungery and Rumpelstiltskin. Very acrobatic. These are the song of two mischievous little cats who steal things and basically make trouble everywhere, essentially acting like crazy little young cats. And they're both kind of tabbies, and it's a fun kind of upbeat little song. And then you move into the song with Old Diriotomy, where he comes on stage. He's a very big cat. I believe the actor is African American. He's in full-on, I believe, gray. He's a gray cat, full-on giant coat. He has a absolutely amazingly strong voice. And he comes on. He's the leader of the clan, and they talk about the Heavenside Lair and what they do every year. And then you move into them telling a very interesting tale. So this comes directly out of the book. It's called The Awful Battle of the Peaks and the I'm going to mispronounce this, polycles, which essentially are dogs. Basically, it's the tale of how dogs were at war with each other in the park, and basically this cat comes in and basically sends them scurrying. So this is the great Rumpus cat. So again, this is a really upbeat and then slightly creepy song with this, and it ends with this. Hensley, you have all these dogs fighting, you have different dogs coming. This has the one really slightly interesting word, which probably comes directly from the book. Again, the book came out in 1939. The heathen Chinese, which again, they're talking about dog breeds, which I think are a mixture of, let's see, small dogs, big dogs. I know they mention Pomeranians in here, and I believe possibly bulldogs. But again, it's basically the tale of a dog war that is stopped by the great Rumpus cat. So, and then you have, and this periodically happens where you have like thunder and lightning, and you have the tune of everybody thinks this cat McCavity is going to show up. That's kind of one of the villains of it. And then again, you have, they start singing, you have a whole big dance scene about the Jellicle Ball, because the Jellicle Ball is speaking because Deuteronomy is there. And then it kind of winds down a little bit, and Grazabella appears. And she basically does her glamour her rephrase. And Deuteronomy is sitting up kind of above. She's in the front stage. And he looks at her sadly. So it's almost like he wants to reconnect with her. Because one of the things you see every time she comes on stage is the other cats the younger cats go to touch her. And they're stopped by the older cats. And that's something that reoccurs that a lot of people almost see as sexual. Is there's a lot of affection between the cats in the group. Which in real cats, that would probably be kind of normal. If cats do hang out together, they scent mark each other, they interact by touching. So it is, yes, they're humans touching, nuzzling each other, but again, they're in characters of cats, and this would be normal cat behavior. And this cat is not part of their group, at least not anymore. So the younger cats go to touch her, which would be their normal kind of behavior, and the older cats stop them. So then basically you kind of have a prelude of the song Memory, and then you have, and though the film doesn't do this, in the stage play, this would be the intermission. And then you come back to Act 2. And basically you have the song What is Happiness, which is sung by Deuteronomy, and he's referring to Grazabella. And one of the younger cats, commonly known as Gemma, though apparently looking at the Wikipedia page, they sometimes change the name to Salub, which I can't pronounce. She's the youngest of the cats. She understands what he's saying. Apparently, you kind of see her in the back, and she knows what he's saying, and he's talking about Grazabella. And then they move on to another song about Gus, who's short for asparagus. He's an older cat, and his caretaker, Jelarum. I don't think they give the names. I'm finding the names online. She starts singing about his life. He was a theater cat. He used to play in different stage plays. Now he's really old, and he recounts the story of the pirate captain's romance, which is Growl Tiger's Last Stand from the book. Basically, it's about a romance of these two cats and how eventually he's captured and Growl Tiger's made to walk the plank. And Gus tells this stage play of a stage play kind of thing. And then basically Gus leaves. Let's see. And then they move into the song about Scrambleshanks, who is the railway cat. And this is a really upbeat number. they're dancing around talking about he's invaluable, he's the railway cat, this is what he does, and it's very, very fun, and again, it's very, very high energy. And they create a steam engine out of the junkyard, which is kind of the main set here. So it's really fun, and it's really, really upbeat. Then comes Macavity. So he's a Napoleon of crime. He essentially, him and his cats they kidnap old Diriotomy and take him off. And then you get the tale being sung by two cats by the name of Demeter and Bumbalura, or Bumbleina. Can't pronounce these things. And they talk about how he's a notorious criminal. He's never caught. He does all sorts of these things. I do believe this comes directly from, Macavity the Mystery Cat. That's where the poem that links into this. And essentially you see basically a fight between him and Muskrat. And Alonzo is the other cat. They're saying that he kind of they battle with him until they defeat him and he runs off. And I think he actually shorts out the electricity and disappears. And then they Rum Tum Tugger. Now, Rum Tum Tugger, let me go back to this. That poem is funny. Well, how they play it out is funny. That's probably the most sexual of them all. It's a cat talking about being a cat, indecisive, in, out, in, out. You know, cats, like, this sounds normal. He makes it more like Elvis Presley singing in his youth. So, very sexual. And he's kind of there. He has a absolutely phenomenal voice, at least the one that's in this. I'm sure they all do, different casts. But he's sung throughout it. So, essentially, Rum Tum Tugger in this, nearing the end of this, he calls on basically a song for the magician cat, Mr. Mistopheles, who you've already seen, but he comes on, and he's the original conjuring cat. And he does his old big show. He's shooting lightning bolts out of his hands. He's sparkling up like crazy, and he brings back old Diriotomy so he can make the Jellicle choice. And then Diriotomy, he's sitting down, he's surrounded by some of the other cats, he's going to make his decision. Grizabella returns to the junkyard, and he allows basically her to address the community. And she sings Memory, which is a very lonely song about her. Basically, she was once something different, she was happier, she has memories of happier times. And when she only has these memories, these things are only visible at night. And when the new day comes, everything's back being a memory kind of thing. And that's when basically Diriotomy allows and almost the younger cats to touch her. And essentially he chooses her to go to the Heavenside Lair. So Gemma and Victoria acknowledge his choice. They start touching her. The rest of the cats touch her, which is essentially accepting her. And then, depending on this version, essentially Diriotomy takes her. They go around the stage, they go up, and stairs appear with light kind of thing. And the part of the stage that Diriotomy had been sitting on rises up, stairs ascend, Grizabella ascends these stairs into the Heavenside Lair. And then once she's gone, they go back to the addressing of a song called The Addressing of Cats. And that is the conclusion of this. I believe this is a little over 2 hours. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 1 minute. So this is really long. I watched it in two things just because I have a toddler, so it's hard to spend 2 hours watching something. So I watched it in pieces. It's really, really good. I mean, I can't stress this enough. If you want to see Cats and Can't, obviously, the musical's not running. We're in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is being filmed in September of 2021. Get this. I think you can rent it on Amazon Prime. I think it's only like $5 to buy the DVD, though it takes a little bit to get there. Oddly enough, when I was looking at this, the current actual film is also only $5 for the DVD. Shows how bad it is. Again, I will link a YouTuber who, there's at least 2 videos that talk about this a little bit more in depth than I do. One of them is Lindsay Ellis. One of them is a guy who really focuses on music. One thing I will say about his video, due to copyright issues, I think he had to silence a part about Gus the theater cat, because God forbid they allow them to critique the song being sung by, God, who is this actor? Extremely famous actor, and his name is literally escaping me. He's the other famous actor in the film. I think I might be able to get it off. Let's see. Let's see if I can do it quick. 2019 film. Who on earth is it? Why on earth can I not get his name? Ian McKellen. So, Sir Ian McKellen, so he has to block that out because apparently copyright issues, and he's he's not a massive YouTuber, and he is a decent YouTuber, but he doesn't have the money to fight a studio, even though technically this is, because he's critiquing it, it is allowed. It's not a violation of copyright because it's fair use. But again, he doesn't have the lawyers to fight the moron who put this together. And yes, I mean Andrew Lloyd Webber, who should stick to doing things like this and not try to do films. The guy I mentioned, again, I'll link, check out the rest of his channel. He talks about the crappy things they did in Les Miserables and how he really should not be doing films. So, again, back to this. Again, this ran for a good long time. I will click back. How it ran. Let's see. It ran for a very long time. Maybe it'll show me running. Let's see. Yeah, it premiered in London on the 11th of May, 1981. And let's see. And then I believe it ran for some time. Yeah, it played a total of 8,949 performances before closing on its 21st anniversary on the 11th of May of 2002. So it ran from 81 to 22. So, yeah, that was a long time. And let's see. And then it hits the record, held the longest record of London's longest running musical from 1989, when it surpassed Jesus Christ Superstar, until October 2006, when it was surpassed by Les Miserables. And then it looked like it returned to the West End in 2014 for a 12-week limited run. And let's see. And then the U.S. On Broadway, it premiered on the 7th of October, 1982. And, yeah, it was already pretty well known by that point. Let's see. It looks like on June 1997, it overtook The Chorus Line to be the longest running Broadway show in history. So let's see, it earned a lot of money. Let's see. Yeah, it was supposed to close in, the show eventually closed on the 10th of September 2000 after a total of 15 previews and 7,485 performances. So, yeah. It ran for a very, very long time. So yeah, for the U.S., 82 to 2000. That was a very, very long time. And let's see, it surpassed the Phantom of the Opera, or no, it was surpassed by the Phantom of the Opera in 2006. But it's the fourth longest running show of all time. So yeah, there's a reason this is really, really good. There's a reason it did this. Watching this tells you why. I can't recommend watching this enough. If you want to, if your kids like cats, if they like singing and dancing, this is a good thing to show them. If you want to introduce them to a Broadway musical, particularly the younger crowd, this is a good thing to do. From what I've read, it's also, this is the thing, this is the musical that was essentially the Jaws of musicals. And what I mean by that, this was the first major blockbuster. It's something that turned musicals into a major event and led the way for things like Les Miserables and The Phantom of the Opera, which were massive spectacles. So it's earned its place. Again, that makes the monstrosity of a film even sadder, because this is good. As a stage musical, this is absolutely, utterly fantastic. I mean, the singing is phenomenal. There's dozens of dance numbers. And that's the big thing on this. It's not as much of a story. It's showcasing the dance skills and the singing skills of these amazing performers. And they do really, really good. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to watch. It's extremely enjoyable. You might have to split it up, as it is in a stage play, where you have, probably Mark, you can always look up when the break would be, because you split between acts 1 and 2. Pull this up. So yeah, Act 1 ends with the memory prelude, and then it starts again with the what happiness is. So you might want to break in between those, because that's the way it would have been on stage. So that is it for this review. Again, I will link some of the, well, Lindsay Ellison, this other musical guy, do some more interesting, in-depth videos on this, because they're more experts at this. They've actually seen Broadway musicals. And been to New York, I'm assuming. I have not. One day, I would love to see one. But I also link the ability to buy this, or you can rent it on Amazon Prime, which I really recommend you do. All ages would definitely enjoy this, but it's the type of person who enjoys cats and theater and singing and dancing. So if you're looking for a Broadway musical to introduce your kids to, this is a decent one to do it. It's a little abstract, it's a little fun, it's a little goofy. There's a little bit too much sexualization with that rum-tum tugger person, but still really good. So if you like what you see, be sure to check out the rest of my channel. This is the first stage play that I've done, so this is a little unusual. I did again do the poetry book, which is actually very good. It's a little weird, a little quirky. Again, it came out in 1939. It flows really well, which is the reason they put it to song in the first place. I also do a lot of children's books. I do a lot of regular family films, a few rated R stuff. Morally, it's because it's educational, and there's a reason behind it, or it's based on a book. So be sure to check out the rest of my channel, along with most of my book reviews and the film reviews I do. Most of them are not modern. So most of them are older stuff. But I also do a few education homeschool videos, because we are secular homeschools, but as of this video, my toddler is 2, so I'll probably get into more homeschooling focused videos once she turns 3, which will probably by the time this video premieres, my child will be 3. So be sure to look forward to more of those. I do have an entire collection of homeschooling law videos to check out. I also do some travel videos. I have a couple up as of this filming, but again, I'm filming in September of 2021, so COVID-19 is still present and not going away anytime soon, unfortunately. Hopefully we will get more travel videos and I will get those up by the time this premieres. So have a look and like and subscribe. Thank you.